Hi, how are you? I trust that you're doing well. So, okay. People asked me to upload a video giving like some tips on effective study techniques that have worked for me. So, first of all, this worked for me. It might work for you. It might not work for you. So, it depends on obviously the type of person that you are. Okay, so it's kind of weird putting my the camera on because I don't always do, but I guess I'll kind of adjust to it. So here are the effective exam techniques that have worked for me, and I sincerely hope that they work for you. But if they don't work for you, obviously, we all have different learning styles. So you probably want to try different learning styles and preparing for exams. It's not an easy thing, it's very difficult because you kind of have to try and adapt to your learning styles. If you are somebody who is able to cope by themselves, or if you cope well in group settings, or if you're self-motivated, or if you're group motivated, those are some of the things that you probably want to learn about yourself before you start preparing for exams, because you can't learn all those things during the exam time. So, okay, all the best with your exams. And the reason why you're here is because you're probably writing, or you are planning, you are preparing to write the exams. So, when it comes to law is not really difficult, because I feel like it's a program that you probably need to do when you are very passionate. So it requires dedication, focus, and then you need to be able to understand the legal concepts. And yeah, let's get started. Okay. So first of all, I think you need to have a study schedule. You need to create a study schedule, the one that you can follow. I personally create my schedule as I go, which is very risky. So if you have a fixed study schedule, that's good. But for me, my study schedule depends on the week, because my week does not always look the same. Obviously, with the timetables staying the same, but my week doesn't stay the same because I work full time as well as attend classes full time. So I make my schedule as I go, but I do a lot of studying at night, because I kind of feel like when everyone is asleep, I possibly work better. So I think that's one of the things that have worked for me. Although I do get like really tired during the day or during classes, but at night I am more effective and more productive. And the next thing I think is the understanding of the legal concepts, or understanding of the module right from the start, right from the beginning of the year. I try to do a lot of research. Let's say next year I'm going to do modules like international law, civil procedure, and so on and so on and so on. So during the December summer vacation, I normally take my time and research on those particular modules, look at the textbook, ask for some notes. And then when we start at the beginning of the year, then I will have a better understanding of that particular module that I'll be undertaking. And that sets me apart from the rest, because when the teaching, then it wouldn't be something new for me. It will be some kind of a revision, because I already have an idea of that particular concept or the module that we're dealing with. So for me, the exam preparation really starts at the beginning of the year, because if you wait until the end of the year, then you've got a lot of problems coming. Okay, active reading and note taking. Okay, cool. With regards to note taking, so this is how I do it. I make my notes before I attend class. Um, Before I attend class. So when I have, let's say I have classes from 7 to 5 p.m. It means the night before I will go through the study material for the modules for the following day. So I make my notes the night before. So I have my notes before I attend class. When I attend class, I already have my notes, and during the lecture, I then start editing my notes. If ever there is new information that is emerging from the lecturer that I don't already have, then I edit the notes that I already have. And then also during the class, I get to actively participate during the session because I already studied or went through the entire material the night before, and whatever the lecturer will be teaching on that particular day, it's going to be some kind of a revision for me. And that's when I get to ask a lot of questions because I already have an idea of on what the concept is. And after the class, when I had already edited my notes, then I just go ahead and read my notes for the last time, just to make sure that I do understand and kind of speak to myself, try to engage myself on the content that I did, either by recording myself or actively writing them down without looking at the textbook or something like that, and then highlight the key points, etc., etc. And then when it comes to case law, I normally associate the events or the events that stand out in a particular case to the name. So let's say it's State versus Makwanyane case. Everyone knows about that case, and then obviously associated with murder or life sentence, so just one word, and then I'll make sure that I will remember that for the rest of the semester or the rest of the year. And yes, let's go to the next one. Use case studies and examples. And yes, I like to use a lot of examples. I use a lot of real life examples when I'm studying a particular concept. I create my own scenarios. And also I like to apply the theory that I learn from my day-to-day classes. I like to apply it to real life situations. So whatever that they teach us in class, I try by all means to kind of fit it or connect it into real life situations, or find something in real life situations that kind of matches that particular case or that particular concept. And then by doing so, I will never forget that particular case or concept. Okay. And then this one should have been number one on the list for me, because this has worked effectively. The group study groups. Study groups have been very effective for me right from the beginning. I kind of had troubles in the beginning because I am a friendly person, yes, but I am not good when it comes to making friends. So it kind of took me a while to actually make friends on campus. And when I made friends, then I suggested the study group option, and then we had that and it worked effectively. But recently we haven't been doing any study group sessions because we've been like busy with our own lives, we're sharing into new things and so on and so on. So we haven't done that, and I do feel that it's kind of pushing me backwards, and I need to get back to study groups, because when I get other people's opinions, understanding how they understand things, or when they explain to me, or when I explain to them, then it kind of starts to make sense, like all the concepts starts to make sense, and kind of deepens my understanding. And I think everyone in the group, they do benefit in their own different ways. So the study groups, for me, it's actually the best out of all the study techniques, because you kind of you get a chance to engage in the content, actively engage, participate. Even if you could not participate in class, but with your friends, you can be able to participate more, and things can begin to make more sense. So this is possibly the best for me. The past papers. I think the past papers for me are the second best, especially when it comes to exam preparations, because 90% of the time, the past papers usually are very helpful. When I look at like the test paper, let's say, for example, the paper that I wrote yesterday, for example, labor law, it was like 90% similar to the paper that was written last year. And what happened was that I actually had to go through the one for last year the night before my exam, and then got some elements of shock, when I started writing, because the mistake that I made was that I didn't go through all the questions on that particular paper, because I wanted to rush through and to get through a lot of papers that particular night. So go through the exam papers, download them, keep them, print them, and use those questions, because even if it's not the same questions, by using the past exam papers, you will be practicing on how to answer questions, because they normally ask the questions in more or less the same manner as the previous papers. So you get to have an understanding. And if you didn't have an idea on how they ask questions, what they expect from you, and so on, it might be very difficult. Sometimes during an exam, you find that you know what the answer is, but you just don't know how to put it on paper. So if you had an understanding, or if you knew how to answer the question, then you'll be in a better position. And okay, another tip during the exam, I know we said studying effective study tips, but another tip during the exams, you must never leave any questions unanswered. And if you feel like you don't know an answer to your question, just try and answer logically, and then in that manner you might get 1 or 2 marks, especially in the questions that you didn't know, if you answered logically, because I think exams are a test of knowledge and understanding. So if the lecturer says that you do have some knowledge and understanding that particular concept, and you answered logically, your answer might have been correct, and you can get a mark for it. So seeking clarification. So seeking clarification, in my view, is like consultation. You go for consultation hours with your lecturer, and then you ask questions. Some of us are very shy to asking questions in class. So asking questions during the consultation hours is very helpful, because the lecturers are actually very nice to individuals. If you go to their office and then you ask questions, and they love it when you ask questions, because you actually give them an opportunity to kind of explain things better in their own way, or in the way that you might understand. And in that one-on-one setting, they can kind of read you to see how do you understand concepts, and then they'll kind of alter their answers to your understanding, to your better, to the betterment of your understanding. So if you go and consult and ask questions, and the lecturers will recognize you, and they'll probably try and be lenient with you. Well, obviously not with marking, but with like explaining different concepts that might be very difficult for you to understand. And then you need to stay updated with the news as well. That is very important, because one day you might find out that your entire study content for the entire semester has like been thrown into the trash just because of one court decision that changes the entire thing. Well, not entire, but if you stay up to date and with the news and the trends and everything that's going on, you will be always one step ahead, knowing the news, the law, and everything. It puts you at a better position, even if like when you're having conversations with your friends and stuff like that, or with lay people, for example, you don't seem dumb by not knowing the new laws or the new legislation and stuff like that. So watch the news, stay up to date. It will help as well with your exams, with your classes. If you like, oh, hey, how about that court judgment, the one that happened like yesterday or the day before, and then your colleagues will like, what? How do you know all these things? Because I stay up to date. Okay, cool. And then last but not least, you must ensure that you take breaks during studying. So what I normally do is that, okay, whenever I have classes, I attend classes throughout the day. And then when I go to my room, then I obviously eat, take a nap for an hour or two. And then when I wake up, then I will continue studying or working or doing whatever. But make sure that you do take study breaks. Make sure that you rest as well. It is very, very helpful if your mind is well rested, and when you rest, you can possibly process some information and remember some information. For me, I try to kind of speak to myself, when I'm resting. I know I said resting, but when I'm resting, let's say I'm trying to take a nap, I kind of process things. I'm a very analytical person. So what happens is that during class, I do process information after. So let's say I had a conversation with a friend, and then I go back to my room, and I kind of try to reflect back what he said, what she said, what I said. I try to recall all that information and then kind of process it. So I do the same with the information that I get from my classes during my resting periods. And then when I wake up, everything will be like making sense. Okay. So that is it for today. So I'm just going to leave you with this. Consistency and perseverance is the key to being successful, especially in your law studies, and prioritize understanding. Do not memorize. Well, you can memorize, obviously, but it's better when you understand the concept, because then you know it. But when you memorize, you can memorize for an exam or a test, and then you can write and pass, but in the end, you do not understand that concept. But if you learn to understand, you create your own examples the way that you understand them. Oh, okay, another thing, I like to watch cartoons. So whenever I create my own scenarios, I kind of have some kind of cartoons in my head. And then sometimes I go to the YouTube videos and look for concept explanations in cartoon versions. So that works for me. And I have no idea if it's going to work for you. That's the same slide. So thank you very much for watching. And if you like this and more, can just hit the subscribe button. I would really appreciate, and then I will try to upload more videos. And if you have any questions, you can leave them on the comment section below, and I will attend to them. So thank you, and all the best with your exams. Goodbye.